Good evening, everyone. Good evening. How are you? Welcome. Dave Guerra here, and nice to have you. Nice to see you. Hope you had a great weekend. It was a nice weekend. Things are changing. Things are moving fast. Like I said, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and there we are. However, let's not forget that it's not over yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there. We're going to have to live with it now. It's going to become part of what we are now. It's becoming who we are. It is it, and you got to respect those that don't agree with you. You have to respect those that do agree with you. And you definitely have to respect those that are leading us and trying to lead us, and those that are getting out there, because again, who else is doing it? I don't see anybody else doing it. I see everybody else talking a good game, but I don't see them actually saying, you know what, here's how we're going to solve this problem. They say, well, if I'm elected, I do have a plan to solve this problem. You know what? We don't have time to wait. People are dying and you want to play games. So I'm just saying we have to respect everybody's for, against, whatever, but we also have to respect ourselves as human beings and say, you know what? Maybe I do need to step in and say something or do something. So with that being said, it's on you. Let's move on, because someone did step in. Someone did say something. The draft was held this past weekend. It was the there we go. I got getting ahead of myself, but that's all right. The NFL draft did take place this past week. The show did go on, and apparently it was actually a success based on kind of everything that was going on. And you saw how the NFL, if you watched it, you saw what was going on. If you read about it, you know what was going on. And the good thing is they took something that typically is kind of like, wow, they're booing the commissioner. Well, you know what they did with that this year? They took it and they ran with it, because it's become a tradition to boo the commissioner. And now the fans were asked to go ahead and send in their videos of booing the commissioner, and it all had to do with raising some money. And that's a very good thing. So they took this one part of this entire spectacle that is the NFL draft, and they did something good with it. So cheers to the NFL on that. It's just water. I've been dehydrated all day. It's kind of weird, but okay, so that's a good thing. That is a very, very good thing. Now, what does this have to do with leadership? Well, again, it's taking something, making apple pie out of apples. That's it. Making apple pie out of apples. That lemon thing, you know what? That's changed. It's still a good thing. The NFL draft was a good thing. Therefore, the apples. And you made apple pie. So you turned this into an event that befitted the situation. It gave us something new. It gave us something unique, a different look, an entirely different look at what the NFL draft typically is. And that's a good thing. The only thing I didn't like is all those car commercials. But again, that's at the local level. And anyway, that's besides the point. So they took something and they made it better. They took something and they spun off other things from that. So again, where before there were no bands or there were no performers, now there were. And that was pretty cool. Where we got to see Bill Belichick's dog. Apparently he's now a celebrity. What's that? What's that called? I forgot the name of that. Talent agency. There we go. The talent agency is now trying to recruit the dogs, get them signed, get them a Twitter address or Twitter name handle, and a couple of other things. But hey, that was pretty interesting. And again, we're going to see more of that, more behind the scenes, more real. And I think that's really what drew the fans in, is that because it was real, they had their guard down. They weren't all stuffy in their suits and ties and, you got to do this, you got to do that, and it's got a pomp and circumstance. No, it's a little bit more relaxed, and that's pretty cool. So again, the leadership aspect of this is that no matter what, they communicated, they shared it, they said, look, we're going to do this, and the show's got to go on. Because the show still has to go on. Why are we letting something that's happening today affect what's going to happen 4 or 5 months from now? And unfortunately, it looks like it's still going to be around. However, they still ran with it. So that's leadership that's looking over the horizon. That's leadership that's looking beyond the fog. That's leadership that is being proactive, not reactive. That is leadership that is anticipating a solution even as the problem has still not been fully defined. Therefore, that's making apple pie out of apples. There you go. So you see, you still have a good thing. And that's where that goes. So making and looking and doing and moving forward. That's what it's all about. That's what leadership is all about in its purest form. So this weekend, we got to see the result of people taking charge and saying, you know what, we're going to deliver on something, as opposed to just somebody standing on the side and just chatter, not delivering. So kudos to the NFL. Kudos to all the teams. Kudos to all the players. Congratulations to all those players that were drafted. And those of you that were not drafted, you know what? They're still walk-ons. And we've seen some awesome walk-ons over the years. I mean, fantastic. Since the history of NFL began since football began 100 years ago. Organized sport of football began 100 years ago. There have been some tremendous, outstanding players that were walk-ons. So don't feel bad. You still have a shot. And so keep hustling, keep grinding, because you never know who's going to call. You never know who's on the other end of the phone call. And if that's the case, then way to go. Everyone else is still a lot of work to do. Businesses are slowly starting to open up. Things are going to start changing, and it's a whole new way of living. It's a whole new way of existing. And with that comes a whole new way of looking at life and expecting and anticipating and going forward and accepting. Because again, as I said at the top of the show, there's going to be times that we just have to respect the fact that there are people that are going to disagree with us. And we also have to respect the fact that people will agree with us. And then we're going to have to accept the fact that sometimes we don't like the people that are, because again, we don't have to like everyone. We don't have to like everyone. It's just the way life is. You're going to have people coming and going, intersecting your life, but understand that sometimes it's better to pull the plug than to keep moving forward in a situation, in a relationship, in a business deal, in an agreement, because sometimes you realize this might not be good. This might not be good. And when your gut is telling you this, something's wrong, something's not right, your gut speaks to you. Folks, listen to your gut. Your gut knows something. That's all your senses coming together deep down inside and saying, hey, just something ain't right about this. And don't be a knucklehead and ignore it. And, I've done it. I've had others do it to me, but that's okay. That's okay. That's how we grow. That's how we know who's with us, who's against us, and who we have no idea about. And folks, that's the way life is. And that's the way life is going. We need to know who's with us, who's against us, but also we need to know who's on board for the ride. And those that are on board for the ride will get off at their time and will go forward along with us to the very end. But at the very last thing is that no matter what, you still need a leader that's a visionary. You still need a leader that's going to look over the horizon. You're going to see a leader. You need a leader that's going to see through the fog. And those are the leaders that are going to take you places. Those are the individuals that are expecting great things. Those are because they're looking for the great things. They're not looking to latch on to something else, or they're not looking to latch on to a memory of what was good once. No, they're looking to go forward, because if you delivered once, you can deliver again. But it doesn't mean that they're going to have to agree with you. It does not mean you have to agree with their personal views. But folks, like I said, when that gut says something, you need to listen. It's just that simple. And in this case, in the NFL draft, bringing it back full circle, they did the right thing. They decided the show went on. It was going to go on no matter what, how, whatever the situation was. And they hit a home run with this. So the NFL hit a home run with the NFL 2020 draft. So kudos to that. Everyone, kudos to you. You take care. Have a good evening. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And until then, take care. Peace.